to teach at our school.
Mm-hmm. Is this during the Depression?
No, the Depression started about 1932, so I'd have been 10 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't have a kindergarten. We started first grade. So I've been 6. It must have started, I think the Depression started in 1932.
Mm-hmm. So when you were in the second grade, you would have been about 7, and so that would have been in 1929. And
Yeah,
so that's when the teacher stayed at your house for that school year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we started school at 6.
Uh-huh. In first grade?
In my first grade.
Uh-huh. So when the Depression hit in the early 30s, that's when it got tough as far as money, but you still had plenty of food around the farm.
We had plenty of food.
Uh-huh. Because of the apple orchards
And
the vegetable garden.
vegetable garden and the cows and the pigs.
Uh-huh.
They'd raise it specifically
For the
not to sell, but many times they had to sell.
Mm-hmm. So sometimes they would sell the livestock, but they usually had it just to butcher. And who helped your dad butcher the meat?
My Uncle Irvin.
Irvin?
My dad's brother.
Uh-huh.
He always called on him to come help with things like the butchering and to build anything.
Mm-hmm.
My father and Uncle Irvin were the 2 boys growing up that had similar lives. They were both good.
They were both farmers?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they lived up about a mile from us.
Uh-huh.
Nobody, hardly any had any cars. We had a 1929 Plymouth, but then my dad took it, I don't know what he's doing, but he took it over fields. He stripped the gears on it so it would sit on the box.
Uh-huh.
And he had him build the garage.
Around the car that was on blocks?
Mm-hmm.
He built the garage around for the car that was on blocks?
Yeah, separate.
Uh-huh.
The house.
Oh, the garage was separate from the house.
Uh-huh. But we used it as an extended, well, for instance, we had strawberries that were commercially, you could sell the strawberries. And by the time the Depression hit, I was big enough to be a big help, especially in the strawberry fields. And neighbor women would come to pick strawberries.
Mm-hmm.
They got paid for each box
Uh-huh.
they picked. My dad built
Boxes?
things for them to carry the boxes.
I see.
He put 6 boxes in one of the carriers. And the neighbor women they get paid, I think it was 2 cents for each box they picked.
Wow.
So that'd be 12 cents.
Right.
And they bring them in. And then I was old enough to man the
The
trees, the little shade things that had 4 legs to stand on the top. But they bring them, and then it had a long table, and they'd bring their carrier up, boxes full of strawberries up there, and I'd punch their card.
Uh-huh.
And at the end of the week, then Dad paid them.
Based upon how many holes were punched in the card. Clever. I remember doing that when I was a little girl when we went back there to visit Grandma and Grandpa. They would let me go out there and pick strawberries, and I had a card that they punched.
Yeah.
So in the Depression, you were also telling me that you also picked green beans?
I got my hearing aids in,
Yeah, they're in.
and it's 2 new batteries in them.
Correct. Yeah.
Uh,
So you picked green beans as well?
yeah.
And then Grandma canned all of those fruits and vegetables?
Most of them.
Uh-huh.
Of course, some of them, like lettuce,
Yeah.
wouldn't last. And, but, yeah, she was always proud of her cans of fruits and vegetables so down in the basement.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I remember going down in the basement. It was always real musty smelling down there, and seeing all of the canned goods that she had, and mason jars. And those were the types of mason jars that you would take soup to school in, and that's when the teachers would put the...
No,
No?
she had little jars.
Little jars. Oh, I see.
Then the teacher thinks it like soup and things like that. She'd have none on a spell, and the teacher would have a dishpan. You know what a dishpan
Right.
is?
Right.
It's a big thing. It's what they used. Oh, we used to wash the dishes in.
Ah. But the teacher would have this dishpan full of water on the stove in the middle of the classroom. That
Yeah, and in one corner of the classroom was this big stove with a metal thing around it, so
Uh-huh.
the children couldn't get
so they
to the
couldn't burn
stove that was
themselves.
hot.
Uh-huh.
So the teacher put a dishpan of water on top of that stove, and then at recess, and we had a recess morning and after middle of the afternoon. So the middle of the morning, that dishpan was beginning to heat up with water, and all the kids would bring their jars up, and the teacher put them all in that dish.
Those
dishpan.
jars had soup that you would eat at lunchtime.
Kept warm.